Nobody chasing the truth.
So the Dallas Cowboys took on the Green Bay Packers at home today. The Green Bay Packers absolutely destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. The final score was 48-32. The Dallas Cowboys never had a chance to win this game. The Green Bay Packers were led by their star quarterback, Jordan Love. He threw the ball 16 times for 21 completions and 272 yards and 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones led the Packers in rushing. He had 21 carries for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. When you can dominate in the air and on the ground like the Packers did today, you could beat anybody. The Dallas Cowboys, whether it was on offense, they were terrible, and if it was defense, they were terrible. And Romeo Doubs, the leading receiver for the Packers, he went completely insane. He had 6 catches for 151 yards. He averaged 25 yards a catch and had 1 touchdown. Leading the way for the Packers defense was Darnell Savage. He had a pick 6. Dak, I felt that Dak, this was the best team he's ever played on as a Cowboy. I thought that the Cowboys would represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, but this was probably the worst day of his career. He was 41 for 60. Yeah, you heard that right. He threw the ball 60 times. He had 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. One of those picks went for a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb was nowhere to be found. He was non-existent. He had 1 catch for 5 yards. Tony Pollard, the Dallas Cowboys running back, he didn't do much either. He only averaged 56 yards rushing, but he had 1 touchdown. And Jake Ferguson, the tight end for the Cowboys, he had a big day. He had 10 receptions for 93 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's a rumor going around that Bill Belichick might become the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And when your team plays this bad on offense and defense going into a playoff game, I think it's really a reflection of your coach. You can't blame the coach all the time for everything, but the Cowboys were not prepared to play today. The way that the Packers mixed up the coverages to confuse Dak, the way they took out CeeDee Lamb out of the game, and the Cowboys had no answer for it. I think it's time to move on to Bill Belichick. He is the greatest coach ever, and if he goes to a team that has a quarterback like Dak and a complete team, I think the Dallas Cowboys can really make some noise next year and probably make it to the Super Bowl. So the Detroit Lions hosted the Los Angeles Rams for a home playoff game. This was the best game of the wild card weekend. The Lions were super physical on defense. Both quarterbacks played great. Matthew Stafford was incredible, and Jared Goff played incredible also. The final score was 24-23 Detroit Lions. When the cameras looked into the stands, a lot of the Detroit Lions fans were crying in the stands. They were super emotional. They haven't won a playoff game since 1992 or 1993. The Detroit Lions were led by Jared Goff. He threw the ball 22 times for 277 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery, the Lions tailback, led the way with 57 rushing yards and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, also another tailback on the Lions. He only had 25 yards rushing, but he had a score. Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably one of the most explosive players in the entire NFL, whether he's on offense or defense. He's an incredible young player. He went absolutely insane. He had 7 catches for 110 yards. The tight end at the beginning of the week, Sam Laporta, there was a lot of rumors that he wasn't going to play. He managed to play. He had 1 touchdown catch. He only had 14 yards receiving, but he still contributed and he got into the game. Aiden Hutchinson, the star defensive end, led the way for the Lions. He had 2 sacks on the day. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, he couldn't have played any better. He is absolutely phenomenal. When they talk about the greatest quarterbacks that have ever played or just in the league in general, I'm really surprised why his name doesn't come off more often, but he's a great quarterback. Anytime no matter what team this guy would play on or if he's in the game, it gives your team a great chance to win. He's a great player. He was 25 for 36 for 367 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had an amazing day today, but it just wasn't enough. Kyren Williams led the team in rushing for the Rams. He had 61 yards. And Puka Nacua, I'm not just saying this because he had a great season or he had a great day today. He really reminds me of Jerry Rice after the catch, Jerry Rice / Hines Ward. He's not super fast, but when he gets that ball in his hands and he gets downfield a little bit and he'll run away from you, but at the same time, he'll run you over like Hines Ward. He's a phenomenal player. He went absolutely insane today. He had 9 receptions for 181 yards. He averaged 20 yards a catch, had a 50-yard bomb, and 1 touchdown catch. And Ernest Jones led the Rams defense with 2 sacks. This was the best game of the entire wild card weekend. These two teams really battled out. It was unfortunate that somebody had to lose, but it comes down to one thing. Every Super Bowl, every playoffs, it seems whatever team is playing, whoever has the best quarterback play, that's who wins the Super Bowl. Tomorrow the Steelers, and they're my team. They take on the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen, and I don't think that the Steelers can hang with the Buffalo Bills at all. Josh Allen's been playing great football towards the later end of the year. He is amazing talent. And I just think that they're just going to outscore the Steelers. It's as simple as that. I think it's going to be 28-17. The Steelers will come ready to play. TJ Watt is out. If you look at the Buffalo Bills and you look at the Steelers, and you got to remember that McDermott and Tomlin, they played college football together. The two teams are a mirror image of each other. Smash mouth. They like to run the football. They do a lot of things that are super similar on offense and defense, but the big piece there is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills version of Ben Roethlisberger when Roethlisberger was in his prime. My picks this week were horrible. I picked the Detroit Lions to win. They won. I like the Browns. They got destroyed. I thought that the Dolphins would win. They got absolutely destroyed. And I knew when I watched the Dolphins game and I seen Tyreek Hill sitting on the bench with a huge snow coat over his face, I said, he don't want to play. He's not ready to play. The Dolphins didn't show up at all. So I had the Dolphins. They got smashed. I had the Browns. They got smashed. I picked the Cowboys. They got absolutely destroyed. This was probably one of the worst weeks I've ever had picking football. Obviously, again, I picked the Detroit Lions. And tomorrow, I feel that my Steelers will lose to the Buffalo Bills.